This is how we could time travel.
Hmm.
Get ready, because today's deep dive is all about the mind-blowing idea that future computers could become
Time machines.
time machines.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
We're diving into the deep end of theoretical physics, exploring how the universe might operate through a framework called hypergraph dynamics.
Hypergraph dynamics.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but I think we need a starting point.
Sure.
What exactly is a hypergraph? Especially when we're talking about something as vast as the universe.
So imagine the universe not as a giant empty space with things scattered around, but like a huge, intricate network.
Okay.
Instead of people, each point in this network is a point in space, and the connections between them represent the fundamental laws of physics and how everything interacts. That's the hypergraph in a nutshell.
So it's less about the stuff of the universe and more about the web of relationships that make everything tick.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the dynamics part of hypergraph dynamics. That refers to how this network is constantly evolving, shifting, changing over time.
Right.
Each interaction, each change in the network is like a calculation. And some physicists believe this might be the underlying mechanism of the universe, a kind of cosmic computer program.
That's a pretty wild thought. The universe is one giant computer simulation.
It's a big one.
But how does that even relate to time travel? It still feels like we're making a giant leap here.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh.
If the universe is like a program, then time itself becomes a series of computational steps, like frames in a movie.
Okay.
Now, imagine if we could somehow access and manipulate those steps.
Yeah.
Could we navigate through time? That's the million-dollar question.
So instead of going back to the future DeLorean style, we're talking about rewinding or fast-forwarding the universe's code itself.
Yeah.
But how would we even begin to interact with something that complex?
That's where the idea of branchial space comes in.
Okay.
Imagine a tree with countless branches, each representing a different possible timeline, a different outcome based on every action and decision ever made.
Right.
That's branchial space in a nutshell.
Okay, now we're getting into some serious multiverse territory.
Yeah.
Each of those branches is like a different reality.
Right.
And we just need to figure out how to jump between them.
You've got it.
Okay.
Though it's not quite as simple as hopping on a branch and sliding over.
Right.
We'd need an almost unimaginable level of computational power to even comprehend this branchial space, let alone manipulate it.
So this is where our future computers come into play.
Yeah.
We'd need some serious processing power to even attempt to map out, let alone manipulate, these alternate timelines.
Exactly. And not just any computers. We're talking about machines that operate on principles fundamentally different from our current technology.
Right.
We need computers that can harness the strangeness of quantum mechanics, the ability of particles to exist in multiple states at once.
Quantum computers.
Yeah.
They're not just about faster processing, right? It's a completely different way of thinking about what a computer can even do.
Absolutely.
But how does quantum computing tie into this idea of navigating branchial space?
Think of it this way. A regular computer is like a car trying to navigate a maze by trying each path one at a time.
Okay.
A quantum computer is like a helicopter that can see the whole maze at once, allowing it to calculate the best route almost instantly.
Right.
To even begin to grasp the vastness of branchial space, we'd need that helicopter view, that quantum advantage.
Okay, that analogy definitely helps.
Good.
But even with quantum computers manipulating the very fabric of the universe to hop between timelines, still sounds like a little science fiction.
Yeah.
What would that kind of universe-bending computation even look like? Are there any clues in the research we're looking at?
It's definitely pushing the boundaries of what we know.
Yeah.
But the source material suggests we might want to look at gravity. In this hypergraph model, gravity is basically a product of how densely connected a region of the hypergraph is.
So areas with stronger gravity, like around a planet or a star, would be like denser, more tangled parts of this universal network.
Exactly. And just like it takes more effort to move through a dense jungle than a clear field, it might be these denser high gravity regions that hold the key to meaningful hypergraph manipulation.
And when we talk about high gravity, we have to talk about black holes, right? Those cosmic monsters are like the ultimate gravity wells.
You're on the right track.
Okay.
Some physicists speculate that black holes could be naturally occurring anomalies in the hypergraph structure, like glitches in the universe's code.
So they're not just sucking things in, they could be potential doorways, cosmic shortcuts through the universe's programming.
Yes.
But if that's true, then wouldn't going through a black hole just crush you?
That's the million-dollar question, and we're venturing into even more speculative territory here. But if we follow this line of thinking, then it's not just about brute forcing our way through a black hole.
Right.
It's about understanding its connection to the hypergraph, to the very code of reality.
So we're not throwing ourselves into a cosmic blender. We're trying to speak the language of the universe itself.
Yeah.
But even if we could potentially use a black hole as some kind of portal, where would we even end up? Another point in space, another time.
Remember how we talked about the universe potentially being one giant computation?
Yeah.
Well, part of that theory involves the universe needing to preserve certain fundamental aspects, like the concept of an observer.
Wait, are you saying that our consciousness, our very existence, is somehow hard-coded into this hypergraph system?
It's one possibility.
Okay.
And if that's true, then the hypergraph's rules wouldn't allow for paradoxes like you going back in time and accidentally preventing your own birth.
Okay, so no, back to the future scenarios.
Right.
But how would the universe prevent something like that from happening? Would it just be impossible to even attempt those actions? Like hitting an invisible wall in the fabric of space-time?
One theory is that instead of traveling to a single fixed past or future interacting with the black hole in this way, would actually shunt us onto a different branch of the hypergraph.
Okay.
Imagine it like this. You step into the black hole portal thinking you're going back to change the past.
Yeah.
But you're actually creating a whole new timeline that branches off from the point you left.
So instead of changing the past, we'd be creating entirely new branches of reality based on our actions. That's a lot to wrap my head around.
It is, and it raises all sorts of philosophical questions about free will.
Huh.
Are we truly shaping our own destiny, or are we just following predetermined paths in this vast, ever-branching hypergraph?
Okay, I need a moment to process all of that.
Sure.
But let's try to bring this back down to earth at least a little bit.
Okay.
If this idea of the universe as a computational process is even remotely true, what does that mean for us in the here and now?
It completely changes our perspective. If we're living in a giant computer simulation, then understanding its code, understanding those hypergraph dynamics, could unlock possibilities we haven't even dreamed of.
We're not just talking about time travel anymore, are we? This completely rewrites our understanding of what's possible.
Exactly. We could potentially manipulate energy and matter in ways that seem impossible now.
Right.
Imagine a world where we can rewrite our genetic code to cure diseases or transmit information instantaneously by tapping into the underlying structure of reality.
It's both exhilarating and a little terrifying to think about.
Yeah.
But hold on, before we get too carried away with these mind-blowing possibilities, we need to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
We're basing all of this on the assumption that the universe operates like a computer program, which is a huge if.
Yeah.
So how much of this is based on actual evidence versus theoretical speculation?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that while the ideas we're discussing are based on some intriguing mathematical models and theoretical frameworks, we're still very much in the realm of speculation.
Okay.
We haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to understanding things like quantum gravity or the true nature of black holes.
So no definitive answers just yet, but we're definitely asking the right questions.
But even if we entertain this idea of the universe as a simulation, it gets really meta really fast.
Yeah.
If we're just code in a giant computer program, does that mean free will is an illusion? Are we all just following a predetermined path?
That's the age-old question, isn't it? And this computational model of the universe definitely adds a new layer of complexity to the debate.
Okay.
It suggests that our choices, our actions, could be predetermined by the initial conditions of this universe as programmed.
Right.
Like setting the parameters of a simulation and hitting run.
So we're all just along for the ride with no real agency over our destinies. I'll admit that's a bit of a bleak outlook.
Yeah. I like to think I have a say in how my life unfolds.
I hear you, but it's not necessarily as deterministic as it sounds.
Okay.
Even within the confines of a program, there's room for emergent behavior.
Right.
For unexpected outcomes. Think about artificial intelligence. We give AI a set of rules, but they can surprise us with their creativity coming up with solutions we never programmed into them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe free will isn't about having absolute control, but about navigating the possibilities that exist within the system.
Right.
Whatever those parameters might be. Instead of lines of code, we're more like players in a game.
Yeah.
We don't write the rules, but we get to make choices that shape how our story unfolds.
I like that analogy. And who knows, maybe understanding the underlying code of the universe could actually give us more freedom, not less. If we know how the system works, even if it's just a small part of it, maybe we can find ways to nudge it to influence the probabilities in our favor.
Okay.
We might not be able to rewrite the rules entirely, but perhaps we can learn to play the game a little better.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it. So instead of being trapped by the code, we become code masters, shaping our own destiny within the framework of this incredible, possibly simulated universe.
It's a humbling thought, to be sure.
It really is. And it speaks to the sheer scale of what we're grappling with here.
Yeah.
We started this deep dive talking about time travel and future computers, and we've ended up contemplating the nature of reality itself. The possibility that our entire universe might be one giant, unbelievably complex computation.
It's enough to make your head spin. But even if we never fully crack the code, even if time-traveling supercomputers remain firmly in the realm of science fiction, the very act of exploring these ideas, of asking these questions, fundamentally changes how we see ourselves and our place in the cosmos.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The journey is just as important as the destination, and sometimes the most profound discoveries are the ones we make about ourselves along the way. Absolutely. So to our listener, if you ever find yourself staring up at the stars and pondering the mysteries of the universe, remember this. The line between science fiction and science fact is constantly blurring, and what seems impossible today might just be a few lines of code away. Until next time, keep asking those big questions, because the answers, however mind-boggling they may be, just might reshape our understanding of reality itself.